strikingly notice the moment you start looking at the content that is presented to you. Vocabulary doesn't matter. Whatever comes to my mind, I might be using it. But when it comes to vocabulary in technical fields, I cannot use simple language. Please listen to me, students, very carefully. There are certain definitions and other things that you would be learning in your ECE core related topics. You will not be substituting those words with simple language, if I am not mistaken. You will definitely make use of the same kind of language that is definitely unique to the field of study. That's how you can say this is technical writing and this is general writing. But unfortunately, many evaluators from the core studies complain that most of the students or writing technical definitions also in simple normal English language, distorting the message, and the definition doesn't sound really like a definition. So you have to be very worried about the presentation of this technical terminology. So you can mention that under the content, right? So remember, these are the few parameters which form a basis for us to distinguish between general writing and technical writing. Done? Then what are the types of technical communication? As I told you, you have either oral or written communication. These are the various talks. These are the various varieties included under both the categories. Fine. Then we are talking about communication, and communication is always dynamic. It doesn't remain static anytime. It keeps moving, it keeps flowing. So, if that were the case, flow of communication, how does it flow? What are the channels of communication? People say, what is the flow of communication, etc. Then, communication flows in many ways. The first and foremost thing is vertical movement. Either it could be upward or downward. Horizontal movement. Where is it used? How is it useful? Etc. Crisscross communication or diagonal communication, people say. And another one is all about formal and informal communication. Fine. I think I did share the same notes with you: formal communication channels, informal communication channels, unofficial communication channels by means of workplace communication, digital. You don't need all this. That is sufficient for you to be written in the examination. However, digital communication also matters because most of us depend on the kind of media to be shared by us. So this is not needed. This is extra information not meant to be shared by you. So what are the different channels of communication? Whenever you are attempting a question like that, you say, why is communication important? Where is it needed? What is the process of communication? As under the process of communication, you have different channels of communication, and then start presenting this particular part of the answer. That would be more than sufficient for you to understand. Am I sharing the screen with you? Have I shared the screen with you until now?
No, madam. Actually, I want to say that one.
Okay, fine.
I thought you are not sharing.
No, I thought because it's notes. What I'm sharing is only the notes here. At least people will throw a glance at it. There are some, what to say, geniuses in my class, right? At least
I actually observed, but I don't want to interrupt you, madam.
okay, fine. 1 minute. I forgot using this these days. Okay. So this is about the see. This is all about the first unit. Apart from that, you also have something called uh, the what to say, the barriers to communication. I have shared earlier with you some notes related. I don't think I have included in this particular document. Anyway, I'll Don't save. Just a minute. I'll share with you that part of the notes, barriers to communication. Can you tell me what is a barrier? How can barriers be categorized? Could one of you answer my question? Yeah. Have a glance at it very quickly. Style of communication, how to improve your style of communication. It refers to the way how something is said than what is said. As I told you, it depends on the intimacy you share, the purpose of writing, the language you choose to use, the relation you share with your audience. ABC of technical communication, accuracy of information, accuracy of expression. Brevity is being brief. How can you make some revision kind of thing to uh, make something very, very brief, but at the same time not sacrifice the content of the message? Then clarity is being straightforward in using words in conveying messages. So we have discussed all this during our classroom sessions with you people, maybe online, one class or two classes, after which we started meeting personally. Clarity. These are all the examples related to that. What to do in order to attain clarity or brevity, precision, etc., etc. What not to do. These are the examples related to that. Choice of words and phrases matters to arrive at clarity in communication. So, to remove difficulty in the meaning interpretation, use simple and plain words. Don't use all these things. Just a minute. ఇది క్యాప్ ఇవ్వమ్మా. Thank you. Yeah. Avoid ambiguity. This is how you can avoid ambiguity. This can be revised in order to improve the sentences to avoid ambiguity. We have worked it out during our lecture, right? Use inclusive language wherever possible. See, don't be cooked up with anxiety or something. These are all the ingredients that should go into your thought process to enable you present your answers in a perfect manner. That's it. So read through the notes given related to that. Does the same thing once again related to the differences between technical writing and general writing. Types of technical communication. Already the same thing I discussed using a Word document. Checklist, because checklist is something that helps us to be sure that we are carrying everything needed for any kind of task execution. If I say this is a checklist, whenever you prepare a document and that is related and that it is if it is related to your technical fields, you make a checklist. Am I going by all these features? Do I meet all these parameters in my writing? Put a tick against each and everything. Then your document is well prepared. Then we also have examples for oral communication and written communication. These are the different forms of oral communication. These are the different forms of written communication, right? Done. This is related to unit 1. Now tell me, before I go ahead with something in my mind, do you have any specific doubts that need to be cleared and discussed with you right now? Any particular unit, any particular topic? Am I talking to class?
Manuals,
Yes.
manual sales letters.
Can you be louder? I'm unable to hear you.
Manuals, ma'am,
Manuals.
and
Okay.
sales letters.
Sales letters. Okay. Anybody else? Any other topics? Fine. I just want to tell you something, especially with letter writing. You mean business correspondence, right? Roll number 307.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, just a minute. ETCE notes on letter writing, letter writing, letter writing, letter. Okay, I would like to go. Where is my memo? Second unit. I would like to begin with memos once again because I have seen horribly written memos in the examinations. You should know that it is not so highly formal as a letter, but still it has its, degree of formality to be maintained. Let's see what is IOM. Quickly, we'll have a glance at each and every slide. Then I would move on to letter writing and manuals. So, what is IOM? How does it help? It is, what are the various purposes a memo serves? Inter-office, internal or inter-office correspondence. IOC. Inter means within the office. Any information that is circulated within an organization falls under inter-office correspondence. We write letters to send to the outside world. We send emails within the office as well as to the people outside the office. But memos are definitely written only for circulation within an organization. I remain in SNH. I can send a memo to somebody in CSC or ECE or mechanical. That's possible. We HODs may receive and exchange information through that means. Remember, circular is something that is circulated to different people and they collect the signatures that so and so person has read the information. Memorandums are some kind of documented evidences that are to be preserved forever, filed up, so that anyone can act accordingly to the decisions given or the policies mentioned or the procedures to be employed, whatever is stated in a particular memo. They can be written to inform people, to persuade people, or even to change plan of action. So these are the types of memos, the documentary memos where the three kinds of actions can be taken up. Congratulatory memos can be just to appreciate someone, disciplinary to seek explanation, or to reprimand to punish someone. Fine then. What are I don't want to look at documentary and other things straight away. What is the structure and layout of a memo? These are the five important segments in a memo. Please remember, when you begin writing a memo, think that it is not a colloquial talk. It's not in what to say informal talk, right? It's a talk with a purpose. It's a talk that has to generate some kind of response from others. It's a talk, it's a communication, written talk that really passes on some valuable information to others in the department. So it should have basically the five segments: heading segment, opening segment, discussion segment, closing segment, signature segment. These are mandatory, these are optional. Necessary attachments, attached or enclosed. Distribution segment, CC, carbon copy, courtesy circulation. You may say this is to be circulated for so many people within the department. Then you have a sample template. You can see this the first part of the no if I yeah the first part where I place the cursor falls under the heading segment. Definitely it has to be separated by a line. The word inter office memorandum has to be written definitely. Then you have the date, to, from, subject. This is the order in which the fields have to be written. Then you have the memo written, which can be segmented under three parts, something like the opening statement and the discussion, and finally the closing statement. Signature of the sender. You can easily make out there is a difference between how a letter is written and a memo is written, right? You start with a date line, you write the name, the designation of the person over here, you write the designation of the sender, and followed by the subject line. Under the signature, you will write the initials by whom the memo has been prepared, right? We also included the attachments and the distribution segment for our ease of remembrance. These are optional elements though. Heading. You can see letterhead format is what we have noticed in the heading. Letterhead. This is letterhead format where the entire heading is printed. Do not have any doubts about it. If at all you are attempting a memo, you should use a letterhead format only. Designations of the sender, the receiver, etc. Subject. These are the I'll go to show you the what to say the sample only rather than going with detailed explanation. Yeah, this is one sample. You can see the word date is written, but when we write a letter, we don't use the word date. Date ani rasi date veyam, but in a memo we do that. That's one difference. So it is simply written. There is a page limit for this memo that goes only on a single page. It does not exceed any time more than a page. It should be limited to a single page. That's it. Now, I would like you to have a glance at this particularly differences between memos, emails, and letters. Please have a look at it. Sorry, memo and email. I have not included letter. Structure, layout, purpose, audience, degree of formality, short forms, abbreviations, etc., circulation. These are the 7 different fields based on which I distinguish writing a letter and an email, right? So, memos have lesser elements when compared with emails. Heading is aligned with the left margin vertically in a memo. It could be anyway as your service provider offers you the email. You don't have a choice. It goes by the service provider. Purpose is to share information, to direct, to recommend, to congratulate, to convey short routine messages very, very quickly. Audience, generally high tech or low tech, mostly business colleagues, generally multiple readers with various levels of knowledge, could include instructors, company supervisors, and subordinates, as well as family and friends. Degree of formality is informal because of internal circulation, less than both in memos and letters, and follows a conversational style. But sometimes people depend on emails as a major means of circulation. In that case, they do maintain the degree of formality. They don't write as though they are talking to someone, but they have some style and tone that matters in as a very formal way of writing. Short forms, abbreviations are permitted in emails, whereas you do not have a choice to use in the memos. Conclusion is all about Sorry, circulation is internal. It can be internal as well as external. Right. This is about unit 2. Let's quickly have a look at emails. Actually, I had something else. Okay, I'll share this document also with you because I feel this is more effective than what I have already given you as notes. Emails. What is email? If at all, you know what is email? It is an electronic mail where somebody, the service provider, allows the internet user to use a document to send message with ease in the electronic form, and the recipient receives it on the same day, on the same at the same time possibly, and responds very very immediately to enable quick transfer of information without any delay at any kind of at any levels. We prefer using emails. What are the advantages of emails? There are 10 advantages that are listed over here. One after the other is very, very useful. What is the structure of an email? From, date, to, CC, subject, salutation, body, and leave taking. Then, what is an email etiquette? I'll be sharing this document with you. Why is etiquette important while using emails? Fine. For the sake of the following reasons, we need to be abided by the etiquette. Write a subject line, start with a professional greeting. Don't forget to introduce yourself because it is not a letter like I am expecting. Everyone can send, anyone can send to anyone. In that case, it is mandatory that the basic information about the sender is disclosed to the reader. So these are the things to be followed to make it a proper email. Watch your tone, write like nothing is confidential. Emails should not be used to send confidential messages because there's a possibility of being hacked. Emoticons are always available, but do not use them because it might be read by even the higher ups. Stick to standard fonts while using that. A professional sign off like sincerely kind regards, best regards or best wishes, thank you, etc. Double check the recipient's name because if you can't send one mail that is intended to be shared by one person to somebody who does not even know anything about this entire business, right? You have to proofread it because a click of a button ensures its smooth transfer. You cannot send it without proofreading. All people say you can include lots of attachments, but do not include over attachments that the mail does not open and rests in a spam box. Be mindful because not everyone needs all kinds of attachments. So decide, prioritize, and accordingly you include your attachments. BCC, use blind carbon copy very, very appropriately. That should not be a burden to someone who is reading the mails by the others. Give responses within 24 hours. That is one of the important etiquette of email. Use reply all only very sparingly when there is a demand. Otherwise, everyone doesn't have to read what you send as a response to one of a mail, especially when you are looking into or logged into a group email, right? Respond to all your emails, whether it is important or not important, you categorize. If it is not important, also courtesy demands that you say not interested. Of course, there is a possibility of spam and other things related to it. Think twice before forwarding. Fine. Spam, these are the few terminology associated with emails which you should definitely know. Flaming is when a person publicly attacks or outs a person. This can often be a series of posts or comments using discussion boards. That's very bad practice. Discussion boards are a web space where you can keep sending your posts or comments. You should be mindful when you are using that. Moderation. Somebody will be there who judges something is good and bad and accordingly truncates all the messages. Spam is an unsolicited or unrequested email sent by fictitious companies. Piracy is illegal copying and distribution of the messages. Predator is someone who uses internet and social online mediums to stalk people. Grooming is a technique. Okay, fine. Cyberbullying, blockers, phishing is a technique. Once again, malware is malicious software. Uh, all these things are related to your email. Okay, so let me move on to going ahead with sample emails. I have posted it in your Google Classroom. Any which way, there is one more thing here that you can have a look at. So when they say a question is given in the examination which demands you to write something like draft an email, draft address, send a letter using an email to so and so person on so and so business related issue. Fine, I received it also. I would say from to subject, follow the format of an email definitely. Then go with CC, BCC, and the letter that you want to write. Subject is not presented here, maybe it's not needed. Then followed by the proper leave taking that ensures that the letter is completely written in all respects. That's about email writing. Yeah, then we go with business proposals. Definitely, it's a tested question over and again. Be sure that you write it properly. What is a proposal? How to write a proposal? Have a glance at it, a quick glance at it. I would be moving between the screens. Just have a glance at it. Yeah. When do we write proposals? See, reports are written when a problem is identified, when something has to be fixed, when someone undertakes a study and all. During the process of business or even after the completion of business. But even before you set out to take up some kind of business, you are when some firm needs help by someone, this is where you start using your proposal writing. You venture out to offer help to people or organizations on any kind of activity so that both of you are mutually benefited. Chalo. Yeah, what are the purposes of writing a proposal? ECB students, listen to me carefully. Unit 2, 50 pages notes I have posted that includes beautiful samples on proposals also. It's still available in the Google Classroom. Usually I download it from there to make additions and deletions to edit the notes that I have already prepared. So remember, you can log into Google and go ahead with this notes. It's very properly written. You don't have to worry about anything related to second unit. What are the types of proposals? Sales proposals, research proposals, and solicit. Another category is solicited proposals, unsolicited proposals. So whenever somebody invites a tender, invites a request for proposal, then it becomes a solicited proposal. But sometimes, as a firm that I am a firm myself, that is, I'm a small company or an organization that I have set up. I want to know who are the people around me who need a kind of help. Then I venture out dropping my proposals. I see that there are so many companies around me which have some or the other kind of problem and they need a kind of help from my side. So I venture off to propose solutions to those people. Then that becomes unsolicited proposal. Solicited is invited, unsolicited is uninvited. So whenever there is no opening, but still I try to find some kind of openings for my sake, then that comes under unsolicited kind of writing. Be it a proposal writing, be it a letter or a resume writing, anything. Okay. Remember this without fail. Yeah, you can know more about it for yourself. What are the three important parts of a proposal? First one is the prefatory part, body of the proposal, supplementary parts. What should be included under the prefatory or the preliminary part of a proposal? Title page, letter of transmittal, draft contract, table of contents, list of figures and tables, executive summary. Yeah, tell me. Somebody said, Madam, what's the problem? You have any doubt or am I not audible? Yes, Ajay?
No one, madam.
No, somebody said, Madam.
It's unexpected, I think, madam.
Okay. If you have anything to raise, you please feel free. Do not hesitate even at this moment. I think I'm sharing the screen, am I?
No, madam.
1 minute. It's gone. Some kind, maybe internet problem or something. I see lot many mirror images and other things. Okay, fine. Types of proposals. What are the types? Sorry, what are the parts of a title page in a proposal? Prefatory part, first part is a title of the proposal, name of the person or the company to whom the proposal is submitted, name of the person submitting the proposal, date of submission. If you can recall and relate, even when we write a report, we just use the same thing, title of the report, name of the person writing the report, name of the person to whom the report is submitted, and the date of submission, right? Letter of transmittal, it's something like a cover letter. I have undertaken to write the proposal for so and so reason, and this is how it is going to help, etc., would all be covered under in the cover letter. Prepares the reader, the ground for the reader's response, and it is written in a very convincing manner, because if they are not convinced they would not read through the entire proposal. So table of contents, the executive summary, what should be included in the summary, because it is a important part of the of the proposal. Of course, even in the reports it is written. What should be included in a draft contract? The initial finance terms agreed upon, duration of the proposed project, plan of execution, phases of execution, etc., would all be given as contract terms and conditions. Body of the proposal. It has at least some 5 to 6 parts over there. What is the problem identified? The background that has helped you identify the problem, the purpose why you have undertaken to write the proposal, the boundaries or limitations you are setting when you are dealing with this writing of the proposal, who are the members of the team or the personnel with their experience, with their details or designations, whoever is going to be a part of this proposal, and what are the procedures you are going to adapt to complete the proposal, the methods and sources, the plan of action. You have segments over here, right? And the budget of the proposal. Because whether you include something or not, people will definitely are eager to look at the budget component of the proposal, because how much is the amount that you really demand for the completion of the project? How are you allocating the budget to each and every individual component? That is, for example, if you wish to undertake a refurbishing work of a particular company, what are the various phases? Phase wise, how much are you going to spend? Phase wise, how much are you going to spend on each and every component? Allocation to various components, that's definitely required. So when you're talking about all those phases and all, you must consider including the materials, the manpower, travel, accommodation, salaries, etc. How are you getting the procuring the resources? How much would be the logistics cost? How much are you going to pay them? Is the payment to be made on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, etc.? Because once you offer to work for a particular company in through the proposal, if you are sending this information through the proposal, the other company, whichever is going to accept your work, should fix its finances and other things and plan accordingly, so that they give you the budget, they approve the budget proposed by you, and there should be a smooth transition of the task and the money. That's why people give importance to budget. So while concluding, we write a paragraph in the conclusion part of a proposal, because we touch upon whatever has been stated, including the budget, and just say what is whatever is proposed to be taken up, that will be executed. So you're restating whatever has been mentioned in the body of the proposal. There are three important terms associated with the proposals. Request for information. I am looking for some ABC company which is going to assist me in fixing a problem. So I send a request for information to that particular XYZ company. ABC company sends information request to XYZ company, that is request for information. Then I get a request for quotation from the XYZ company, or FQ, request for quotation. So I would like to know what how X, as member of XYZ company, I would like to know how ABC company is going to offer budget for the execution of the proposal, that is for the execution of the tasks in real state conditions. So I would seek this quotation, and if I feel I'm satisfied with it, I then just say request for proposal. I want to know what is your actual proposal from the beginning till the conclusion. How are you going to deal with it? Each and every component wise, I want the detail. So I would like, as ABC company, I would send a request for proposal to XYZ company once I feel the quotation is satisfactory to me. These are the terms associated with proposal writing, and without this you cannot. I have shared the examples also with you, please have a glance at it. So this is about request for proposal. Now, let's get back to something, that is Unit 3. Okay, let me touch upon only Unit 4, manual writing. I don't know whether it's just a minute. Is the right slide or not? I should check. Fine. We go with manual writing. What is a manual in the first place? Have a glance at it. Manuals, guidebooks, rule books, people consider them to be one and the same, more or less. There is information that is overlapping. They are more or less one and the same. But depending on the user's purpose, depending on the writer's choice, you have differences in the manuals, in the types of manuals. Have a glance on what is a manual. In the first and foremost place, be clear with what is a manual. A how to do it document. How to do might be dealing with a particular process or a procedure or an operation, a mechanism, job instruction, training the people, the new recruitees, etc. So this is a manual. Why are manuals written? Because people need information that is kept ready to use. So for such reasons, people write manuals. People, in fact, employ writers who can write manuals in a better and a understandable manner. What are the uses of manuals? Instructions to customers, instructions to representatives, instructions to management, supporting staff, etc. about the use of procedures or equipment. So, planning a user manual. We have three different types of manuals. One is the operations manual, one is user manual, one is instruction manual, right? Have a glance at it. Somebody designed a machine. He is an inventor or a scientist or someone who is associated with it. Somebody, there will be one kind of person or the personnel and a staff who knows how to fit each and everything. When the machine is designed by an engineer, some people work at it to design it and bring it to a proper shape and a form. They know what is what, where to fix, where to lose, where to dismantle, etc. But there should be some other person who works along with these two kind of people at these two levels to know how to write the set of instructions for setting up this equipment at any place, even when the technicians are not available. So manuals come into the picture for that particular reason. Because there are, see, whenever we write manual, we set out to write manuals, we aren't writing just like that, that comes to our mind, but we visualize everything as people associated with a piece of equipment, and we know how to set up the equipment. So we go through each and every process, each and every step, and we provide the instructions accordingly. So manual writing does not happen at a go. Each and every step can be broken down into subsequent steps for the sake of convenience and understanding. So to supply all this information in a very effective manner, people think of using visual aids, pictures, diagrams, schematic representations, component wise schematic representations, where people could work at their pace to fit it properly and start using the equipment. While writing a manual, we should consider the audience. What kind of audience are they? Are they qualified technicians with some kind of expertise? Are they mere technicians who only know just where to fix and what to fix? Are there people who need to be given some kind of extra information, who can also troubleshoot, who can also deal with the troubleshoot part of the equipment? You, as a writer, have to decide on the kind and sections of audience and write to suit every section of audience while designing your manual. So, planning a manual needs a kind of formatting where sections are there, subsections are there, etc. So, consider where the audience would use the manual. Accordingly, use divide it into subsequent steps and other things. Have a glance at it. If it is a product manual, what should I write? Just depict the product and give instructions related to the product, what is what. Introduce the product to the user. If it is a user manual or an instruction manual, I should also refer to the product and give detailed instructions about it. Remember, product manual will be useful for lay persons like us who buy a product, who know what is what, label diagram, diagrammatic part of the product, and we start using it. But if it is a user manual or an instruction manual, it has more than that. It also gives a product description, but it gives each and every component's usage. It's not about all about the usage, but also what is what and how to use it. That should be included in the user manual or the instruction manual. So when I write any manual, I should know what steps I am going to use and what parts am I going to talk about. Planning a manual. So if at all I plan a manual, I should say this is a power button. I should clearly depict it with the help of a diagram and stop. Give some information pertaining to each and everything. Select visual aids while planning to write a manual. So, what kind of visual aids can be included? If it includes a process or a procedure, I should definitely think of using some kind of flow chart that would help the reader to process the information in a very effective manner. The number of pages per page, how many instructions. If at all I have a kind of a diagram where to include the diagram and the instructions together, that all should be thought of while designing a manual by the writer. How to draft a user manual. Introduction. Explain the purpose of using the manual. Explain what the reader needs to become familiar with the product. Right? The level of training required to operate the machine or the piece of equipment. Arrange the sections. A manual has two major sections: description of the parts, instruction for all the sequences. Both have to be properly developed and explained while arranging the section. The part section and the sequence section. Drawing helps to understand the part section. Instructions help in knowing or operating the piece of or the gadget sequential in a sequential manner. Other sections include title page, table of contents, safety warnings, general information, installation instructions, etc. And the conclusion parts include the maintenance procedures, troubleshooting suggestions. Maintenance procedures is about how the equipment should be maintained, handled, when and where and how the servicing should be got done for the smooth functioning of the equipment, etc. Troubleshooting suggestions talk about if something goes wrong during the operation of the equipment, what should be done immediately to avoid damage or loss. The types of manuals: user manual, product manual, and operations manual. So, when we talk about the user manual, it helps the user or the customer operate a machine or equipment or even a small gadget that has been purchased by you. It gives a detailed view of the product also. Whenever you buy a product manual, definitely you have a user manual, the set of instructions that accompany the manual, right? The first part of a user manual would be the description of the product. So these two are interlinked, I can say. Operations manual. So this is not something related to user manual or something like that. This is associated. This is basically a kind of document associated with uh, offices, I can say, organizations, even standard law books. Medical field also has some kind of standard operations procedures, SOP, we call it as. So this comes under the operations manual. It documents the standard approved procedures of operating various systems or equipment. Equipment is known to us a machinery, a piece of a gadget, or something. Systems can include the systems of justice, law, medicine, any kind of engineering field, any kind of science and technical advancements can also be considered as a system where a kind of rule book is made readily available for reference. where people refer to it and rely upon it for their information. It guides the employees to perform the required operations safely and effectively. Because whenever there is a new recruitee, there wouldn't be time for each and every person to train the recruitee. They are handed over this kind of guidelines or rule books, which the new recruitees should familiarize themselves with, so that they know what they are supposed to be contributing or doing as a part of their job or role responsibility or something like that. So, if at all, these are the different kinds of manuals. If at all you are supposed to draft a manual, these are the 10 points you should be using, you should be bearing in mind to do it in a proper manner. Master your subject, adapt to the audience, choose a style of writing, be concise and precise. Structure your manuals according to the need, according to the purpose, according to the audience's analysis, right? According to the design you are making, whether it's being used for a product manual, whether it's to be accompanied by as a user manual, or whether it's going to be helpful to any particular organization where it's going to be a part as a standard operations procedure. Illustrate properly with photographs, diagrams, use other visuals that could be what to say, you may take pictures, you may draw schematically, you may break down the entire product into its componential parts and explain each and every part, because as we discussed, as we saw in the previous slides, you have the part section and the sequence section. Unless and until you don't provide a complete picture of the part section, you cannot help the reader to understand the sequence section, right? Use videos. Some user manuals also provide the videos link over there, where people can Google and just log in for a proper demonstration of the product. Distribute your manuals to people whoever need it. Update the content as and when there is some research carried out and implemented as a part of the equipment. Apart from that, these manuals have to be made available from time to time. The content has to be updated from time to time. People rely upon the ratings of the manuals also even before they purchase a product. So manuals are not just something that accompany a particular product or help a user to follow the guidelines. They are also a ways and means of selling or advertising their product in a commercial manner. So go by these guidelines to write your manuals in a proper manner, right? Yeah. Any other doubts related to it? Any other specific topics that I need to discuss with you? Okay, fine. ECB, answered all the questions that are given to you. Don't leave any part of the question unanswered. Second and foremost thing, the first and foremost important thing, look at the question and start framing your response accordingly. Don't swallow half the sentences as you do in your internals. Write properly, think clearly before you set off to write. I wish you all the very best for your examination. If you need any specific thing, you can text me. I will take, because tomorrow is the only day left out. I do not want to disturb you. Prepare thoroughly and attempt all the questions properly. Can I stop here? You have something else to
Excuse me,
say?
ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Writing manual is a lengthy topic, right, ma'am?
They
So,
would
are
not
there
ask.
any specific points that are to be noted? Like only few side headings to be mentioned in a particular manual?
Mute your mic, I will speak. Yes, every manual has a few side headings that are to be noted. I shared the notes with you pertaining to that. I'll share the PPTs also that I have with me. You can go through. User manual needs a few side headings and headings. Instruction manual or the product manual needs a few varieties of headings, right? Operations manual requires another kind of headings. I have shared that in the notes that I have already posted on Google Classroom. Have a glance at it. If you still have a doubt, you can text me.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. If you need, I will reload the PPTs that I have with me right now. That's it. Anything else? Prepare thoroughly. Don't take this as a cakewalk because it's all about your written communication skills. Unless and until you don't write properly, you will not get the required marks because this time it's going to affect everybody's grades alike. First internal, very bad performance. Second internal, improved to some extent. Now it is offline exam, not an online examination. So I stop here. You go ahead. You still have 1.5 days with you. Write, prepare very properly and write properly. All the very best to you. You may leave the meeting now.
Thank you, ma'am.